Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf. I'm not actually very well read in Virginia Woolf yet, but I want to be, and I will be, because I love what I have read of her. After I finish my stalled, about to be restarted quest of reading this giant Dostoevsky biography and reading all of his works as they're mentioned along with it, so like just a complete read of Dostoevsky. After I do that, Virginia Woolf is the next writer I'm going to give that treatment to. I'm going to read this biography by Hermione Lee, which I hear is the gold standard. Her ideal biographer. One of the most impressive biographies of the decade. Great pleasure. Maybe a major regret in my life is that when there were hundreds of Virginia Woolf books at this thrift store, that I only bought lots of them and not all of them. It was an incredible scholars collection in Las Cruces, where I bought more than half of the books you're about to see here. Here's from the paperback case and project. I'm bringing this back in here just to look at it. Very nice edition. 1953 paperback. Awesome. Is that right? Here's another biography. Quentin Bell. Virginia Woolf and her works. Very cool. Biography / commentary. Virginia Woolf reevaluation and continuity. Cool. Collection of essays. Critics on Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf and her world. This one's got lots of good visuals. Books about Virginia Woolf. Paperback taken out of this. Mrs. Dalloway is largely about a person's thoughts while she bakes a cake. That's crazy. The movie, The Hours, and the book are about it partly, and a good addition. I have a notion that the book, The Hours, was written just to be turned into a movie. It has a 3-act structure. It's set in New York and LA, the two movie towns, and it has a big flattering passage where Meryl Streep happens to be glimpsed by a character on the street who was later cast in the movie. Kind of funny. More paperbacks. These are essays by her. Beautiful 1953 copies. Wow. The common reader, says Virginia Woolf, differs from the critic and scholar. He reads for his own pleasure rather than to impart knowledge or correct the opinions of others. Above all, he is guided by an instinct to create for himself, out of whatever odds and ends he can come by, some kind of whole, a portrait of a man, a sketch of an age, a theory of the art of writing. Hey, that's kind of my approach to the paperback case. Oh, these are anthologies. Cool. Good. From other writers too. Well, I'm not sure. Looking over this, I think it's her commentary, essays on all these subjects. I can't wait to read these. Hey, Joseph Conrad. And this one. Great covers. I don't know about these being 50s copies, though the prices don't seem right. 1960. Robinson Crusoe. De Quincey. Mary Wollstonecraft. Thomas Hardy. How should one read a book? Personal advice. Here are a couple more essay collections. This one looks really cool. 75 copy. The Supernatural in Fiction. Oh yeah, she's quoted at the start of the movie A Ghost Story, I noticed recently. She says something like, all night long there was noise in the house. Always somewhere a shutter would be slamming or something. This book is literally about how women must have a fixed income and a room of their own in order to have the freedom to create. Wow. novels. So I have 2 copies of The Voyage out. Don't know which one to keep. That one there has a nicer spine. That's her first book, I believe. It's got a dumb bookstore black mark on it. This one's not marked, but its spine is in rougher shape. I don't know what to do. Keep them both for now, I guess. Ton of this one, but it's beautiful. A lot of her books are really high concept. This one, I believe, is a generational story. New York Times Book Review says, lovely as The Waves was, The Years goes far behind and beyond, expressing Mrs. Woolf's purpose in the novel more richly than it has ever done before. Beauty of beauty of the prose, everyone's saying. The finale is inspired throughout a brilliant fantasia of all time's problems, age and youth, change and permanence, truth and illusion. I don't doubt it. Excellent cover. This one sounds very interesting, about a character that lives hundreds of years and changes genders and changes identities and just, that's, wow. Most exuberant, most fanciful novel. Character liberated from the restraints of time and sex. That's so wild. I hear good things. I was just reading the description of this one a minute ago, and it sounds wild. It sounds like somebody described as their components as like a work of abstract expressionism. The blobs of color continue to drift past. I wrote a short piece a long time ago. It was a description of, I used to write these faits divers, like 3-line, 4-line little descriptions of news items called New Mexico News. And I wrote this one that was like a shifting heap of so many trillion cells. I had the exact number. I mean, like an exact approximate number. Came shifting along toward a podium in the center of a room. Pool cover needs replaced, it said. And I was like, how can I make a description of this meeting about something boring kind of interesting? So this looks like it takes a similar perspective. A new type of fiction is swum into view. This is fascinating. It's like a J.G. Ballard premise or something. Incredible. This book blew my mind. It was crazy. So back in 2001, I walked across the country with a charity hike, and we ended at a lighthouse on the Gaspé Peninsula in Gaspé, Quebec. And so I told my friend who owned a bookstore at the time that To the Lighthouse should be like the official book of our hike. And she said, it's not even the most appropriate Virginia Woolf book. You got to read The Waves. It's about 6 people, because there were 6 of us in our group, that adventure through life. And she's right. I read The Waves recently. And yep, that book's incredible. Note that I accidentally said movie there. It was like that. It was like a cinematic, immersive experience. I loved it. 6 people's minds over the course of their whole lives, stream of consciousnesses that blur together. It's fantastic. And there's a 7th person who's kind of absent. When I was writing a screenplay about that hike across the country, this book was my real like literary muse while writing it. I thought about it a lot. So recommended. This is a beautiful copy. To the Lighthouse, also great. It's been a long time since I read this. Just a location in the foreground. It's so cool. This one has a really weird premise. It's a description of a dog, but it's a dog owned by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, the poet. It's a biography. Taking novelistic liberties, I think. It enchants right from the opening pages in which the author pursues the history of the spaniel's name. A masterpiece. It is not fiction because it has the substance, the reality of truth. It is not biography because it has the freedom, the artistry of fiction. That's the New York Times. Ugh, always weird stains and stuff on books. Come on. And a famous one. I bought this new recently. I wasn't sure if I had it or not. And I saw this at Barnes & Noble. I was buying stuff for the holidays for other people, and I thought, I need some more Woolf. Turns out I already had a copy, but no regrets, to quote that internet photo. Someone with a neck tattoo that says no regrets. Well, she's a very good writer. She set a high bar for prose style and depth of feeling. Just so thoughtful. A writer I'm very glad to know and want to know more. All right. Take care, everybody.